In today's show, Bitcoin heads for a dismal weekly close as the Bitcoin price rejects at $20,000. That's right, we bounced back from $17,500 as the bulls faced a $7,000 weekly red candle. And quoting Charles Edwards, there is a first everything. This is the first time the Bitcoin has traded below the prior cycle highs. I think it is fair to say things are different now. And as economist Holger points out here, to put things into perspective, a Bitcoin crash of 74% as at present is nothing unusual. In history, there have already been 4 collapses in which the leading cryptocurrency went from peak to trough by greater than 80%. And as credible crypto shares, looks like no squeeze first, well then, let's rip the band-aid off and get this over with. And quoting Plan B in his recent update, there are currently 2 perspectives on Bitcoin. Number 1, which you can see on the left, Bitcoin is a bubble, a Ponzi that will go to zero. And number 2, which you can see on the right, Bitcoin is rising exponentially with great volatility. Now note that the 2 charts use the exact same data. Perspective matters. One sees a bubble Ponzi scam, the other sees exponential growth of a new technology. Now check this out. In 2011, Bitcoin fell below $20. In 2015, Bitcoin fell below $200. In 2017, Bitcoin fell below $2,000. And in 2022, Bitcoin fell below $20,000. Do you notice the pattern? If it persists, expect the next Bitcoin cycle crash in the next 2 to 5 years to 10x to $200,000. I'm also going to be sharing with you the price of Bitcoin on Father's Day for every year since the inception of the King Crypto. And Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary says he is buying the Bitcoin dip and not selling anything. And Max Kaiser is sticking with his $220,000 Bitcoin price prediction, which he says is still in play for this year. Also in today's show, El Salvador's president addresses bear market concerns with Bitcoin hopium. He says if you invested in Bitcoin, your investment is safe. Also in today's show, top Bloomberg analyst says $20,000 Bitcoin may be the new $5,000 and explains why. $20,000 Bitcoin may be the new $5,000. The fundamental case of early days for global Bitcoin adoption versus diminishing supply may prevail as the price approaches typically too cold levels. Also in today's show, Billionaire CEO of a $122 billion asset manager predicts Bitcoin can crash by another 50%. That's right, in a new CNBC interview, the CEO of asset management firm DoubleLine Capital says he wouldn't be surprised at all if Bitcoin fell by more than 50% from the current levels to around $10,000. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Here at Crypto News Alerts, I drop a brand new episode every single day. The goal is to get to 100,000 subs. If you like getting at crypto, be sure to smash that subscribe button. That's right, and ring that bell to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, including weekends just like this. I'd also like to point out I recently released Crypto News Alerts Shorts, and I'm releasing a new Shorts video every day, so be sure to check it out. All right, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV. How's it going, crypto fam? Hopefully you're hanging in there. We just touched 17,500 on yesterday's crash. Bitcoin attempted to reclaim that 20,000 as support this morning on June 19th as the bulls faced a $7,000 weekly red candle, which you can see here in the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart. Now, data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed Bitcoin rising from lows of 17,500 on Bitstamp before being firmly rejected at 20K. Now, low liquidity trading conditions had made for a grim weekend for hodlers as the largest crypto fell to levels not seen since November of 2020. Deja vu, like whoa. And while recovering some losses on the market for the day, 20,000 had returned as resistance, this having formed an all-time high for Bitcoin for 3 years from December of 2017 to December of 2020. It was also the first time that the King Crypto had retreated under a previous halving's all-time high. As Charles Edwards of Capitulation Investments points out here, there was a first everything. This is the first time Bitcoin has traded below the prior cycle highs of around 19,800 from back in December of 2017. I think it is fair to say that things are different now. I think he makes a great point. And while some panicked, however, seasoned market participants remained broadly understanding of the recent price action, which still corresponded with historical bear market patterns. As economist Holger shares here, to put things into perspective, a Bitcoin crash of 74% at the present is nothing unusual. In history, there have already been 4 collapses in which the leading cryptocurrency went from the peak to trough by greater than 80%. And in terms of what might lie ahead, attention focused on $17,000 as a potential potential short-term target. A short squeeze higher, as popular Twitter account Credible Crypto noted, was not on the menu. As he shares here, looks like no squeeze first. Well then, let's rip the band-aid off and get this over with. And he's referring to his previous post. We got our first couple of D1 closes below the green support region, meaning the $22,000 to $25,000 region is now local resistance. As per my last vid update, the $16,000 to $20,000 region is likely to get tested. Would prefer a squeeze first, which is the red path, but let's see what we get. And crypto analyst Rat Capital updated us here this morning. No matter how much of an extreme time this seems to be for Bitcoin, historically, Bitcoin tends to wick between negative 14 to negative 28% below the 200-week moving average, which is currently sitting at around $22,500. The Bitcoin has wicked negative 21% below the 200-week moving average so far, still within the historical range and not out of the ordinary in that respect. Now let's discuss sellers offloading coins at a record loss at around $7,000. However, the week's red candle was set to be one of the largest in Bitcoin's history. In dollar terms, data from on-chain analytics platform Gundlach added that June 2022 was shaping up to be the worst on record, beating even 2013 in terms of losses. As Glassnode shares here, the last 3 consecutive days have been the largest US dollar denominated realized loss in Bitcoin history. Over $7.325 billion in Bitcoin losses have been locked in by investors spending coins that were accumulated at higher prices. Over the course of the last 3 days, approximately 555,000 Bitcoin have changed hands between prices of $18,000 and $23,000. And as a sign of investor pressure resulting from the spot price performance, more Bitcoin was sold at a loss in the last 3 days to June 19th than at any other time, according to figures from on-chain analytics firm Glassnode. And additional concerns focused on the financial buoyancy of Bitcoin miners. Not everyone, however, agreed that network participants were feeling the pinch to the extent that capitulation would result. And checking out the latest updates from Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model, there are currently 2 perspectives on Bitcoin. Number 1 on the left, Bitcoin is a bubble, a Ponzi that will go to zero. And number 2 on the right, Bitcoin is rising exponentially with great volatility. Now note that the 2 charts use the same exact data. Perspective matters. That's right, the same exact charts. It's just a matter of perspective. And he also shares here, Bitcoin, one sees a bubble Ponzi scam, the other sees exponential growth of a new technology. So the $1 million question becomes, which one do you see? Let me know in the comments below. And as Document in Bitcoin shares here, in 2011, Bitcoin fell below $20. In 2015, fell below $200. In 2017, fell below $2,000. And in 2022, Bitcoin fell below $20,000. So if this pattern is to persist, then in the next 2 to 5 years, we can expect Bitcoin price to crash 10x higher than the previous cycle's crash, which would put us above $200,000 per BTC. Let's go. And as pointed out here, the price of Bitcoin on Father's Day, dating back to the inception of Bitcoin back in 2009 when it was zero. The next year it was 1 penny in 2010. In 2011, $18. 2012, $6. 2013, $105. 2014, $605. 2015, $247. 2016, $753. 2017, $2,559. 2018, $6,718. 2019, $9,133. 2020, $9,322. Then we had a massive jump in 2021 to $35,665. And in 2022, $19,583. Now, Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful, says he is buying the Bitcoin dip and that he is not selling anything. That's right, diamond hands. And Max Kaiser updated us this morning. Bitcoin, $220,000 in 2022, still in play. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the host of the Orange Pill Pod. And before I break down next story of the day, El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, addresses bear market concerns with Bitcoin hopium. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, Bitcoin and all the major cryptos are pumping back in the green, with Bitcoin up about 2% for the day, maintaining just above $19,300. We have Ether up 4%, maintaining just above that critical $1,000 support, while Binance Coin, Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, and XRP are all pumping and in the green. But all right, now let's break down the next story of the day. El Salvador introduced Bitcoin as legal tender on September 7th of 2021, when it was marked at around $50,000 per coin. And ever since, Bukele's government made significant returns on their initial Bitcoin investments, as Bitcoin rallied to all-time highs of $69,000, which was redirected to the country's various infrastructure development initiatives. However, as tensions rise amid falling Bitcoin prices, Bukele decided to share advice for fellow Bitcoin investors who may be concerned about the prolonged bear market. Nayib Bukele, the president who helped Bitcoin gain legal tender status in El Salvador, addressed the rising concerns of investors as Bitcoin began trading under $20,000 for the first time in 18 months. Quoting the president here, I see that some people are worried or anxious about the Bitcoin market price. My advice, stop looking at the graph and enjoy life. If you invested in Bitcoin, your investment is safe and its value will immensely grow after the bear market. Patience is the key. That's right. I want to remind you that 1 Bitcoin is still equal to 1 Bitcoin. That, my friend, is a fact. Nayib Bukele received mixed reactions from the community, as many pointed out the fact that El Salvador procured most of its Bitcoin at a much higher price than the current market value, while the critics and Peter Schiffs of the world expect Bitcoin and other cryptos to continue on a downwards trend. On-chain analytics signal the oncoming of Bitcoin's reversal back to its former glory. Some of the popular suggestions to Bukele from the crypto community amid the bear market include launching the Bitcoin bonds. As Alistair points out here, if I might make a humble suggestion, great time to launch your Bitcoin bonds. And as the world keeps track of El Salvador's Bitcoin economy, Alejandro Zelaya, the Minister of Finance of El Salvador, dismissed allegations about the country losing over $40 million, stating the following: I have said it repeatedly, a supposed loss of $40 million have not occurred because we have not sold the coins. That's right, you don't lose, but you don't sell, because 1 Bitcoin is still equal to 1 Bitcoin. And in response to a journalist's question about El Salvador's reaction to Bitcoin's sharp dip, Zelaya responded by saying that there is a clear criticism of Bitcoin as such, not of El Salvador's strategy. And before I break down next story of the day, top Bloomberg analyst says $20,000 Bitcoin may be the new 5K. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market cap, sitting at $855 billion with $93 billion in volume. In the last 24 hours, the current Bitcoin dominance is 43.1%, with the Ether dominance at 14.6%. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Satoshi Vision leading the pack, up 12.5%, trading at $58.47, followed by ApeCoin, up 12.2%, trading at $3.82, followed by Unised Leo, up 10.8%, trading at $5.10. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the past week, you can see a sea of red, which is a handful in the green, including HNT, up about 22%, Satoshi Vision, up 18.5%, and Elron, up 11.1%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we are currently rated a 6 out of 100 in extreme fear, the same as yesterday. Last week was a 14, and last month a 13 in extreme fear. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That could be a great buying opportunity, like we're witnessing right now. BTFD, buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. Bloomberg's closely followed commodities analyst, Mike McGlone, says that the $20,000 range for Bitcoin may act as the new price floor, similar to $5,000 in the years past. The analyst says that the flagship crypto is now approaching historically too cold price levels based on a series of moving averages. Quoting him here, $20,000 Bitcoin may be the new 5K. The fundamental case of early days for global Bitcoin adoption versus diminishing supply may prevail as the price approaches typically too cold levels. It makes sense that one of the best performing assets in history would decline in the first half of 2022. Now, during the 2018 bear market, the $5,000 price area served as support for Bitcoin for about a year. And in 2020, the $5,000 level also acted as support for Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin briefly breached that area a couple of times. And as bad as the market sentiment appears now, McGlone describes Bitcoin's downturn as typical and points out how it is occurring alongside surging volatility in other traditional assets. As he shares here, Bitcoin adulting versus spiking stock, bond, commodity volatility. Bitcoin appears to be in the midst of a typical drawdown, notably versus historically extreme spikes in commodity prices and bond yields, rapidly reverting equities and the most aggressive Fed in about 30 years. And the analyst had previously taken a bullish stance on Bitcoin's long term and had predicted that Bitcoin will explode along with gold and US bonds during what he refers to as a great reversion. Quoting him again here, I think what is going to happen is a great reversion. It is just getting started. It might be like the aftermath of 1929, but I think it is going to be like the aftermath of 2008, or maybe like after the 1987 crash. It is so overdue. All the risk assets, everywhere from condos in Miami and Toronto to the stock market, It's just starting to happen, and the greatest inflation in 40 years in most people's lifetime is starting that. Once we kind of get through that period, I think Bitcoin is going to become realized as one of the best assets on the planet to hold. That's my base case. My outlook is I think some of the best assets to own will be gold, US bonds, and Bitcoin. I think we're going back to deflation, and the best way to get deflation is to get a big spike up in prices and then flush them. That's what we are doing. We're in the early days of flushing. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Mike McGlone that $20,000 is the new $5,000 for the King Crypto. And before I break down our final story of the day, Billionaire CEO of $122 billion asset manager predicts Bitcoin can crash by another 50% all the way down to $10,000. But first, I want to remind you to smash that show more button right below this video in the description for a detailed analysis of what's going on in the crypto market. This goes for all 1,200 plus videos right here on my YouTube channel. Also, some very helpful resources for you to plug into, including my crypto merch store live at merch.cryptonewsalerts.net. Also, be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And be sure to check out Crypto News Alert Shorts, which are now live here on the channel. Also, you can follow me on all the major podcasting platforms, from Spotify, home of the Joe Rogan Experience, to Apple's iTunes and Google Play. And if you're listening to the pod, be sure to check out the YouTube channel at cryptonewsalerts.net for the full premium experience with video. And of course, you can follow me on crypto Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, TikTok. So wherever you're at, be sure to plug in and follow me there. But all right, now let's break down our final story of the day. Billionaire bond king Jeffrey Gundlach believes that Bitcoin will plummet further despite having already fallen by around 70% from its all-time high. That's right, in a new CNBC interview, the CEO of asset management firm DoubleLine Capital says he wouldn't be surprised at all if the flagship crypto asset fell by more than 50% from the current levels to around $10,000 per BTC. Quoting him here, the trend in crypto is clearly not positive. I mean, it topped out a long time ago. Remember, I was with you in July of last year, and Bitcoin was up at like $60,000 or something, and then it dropped down to $30,000. It managed to rally back, but it looks like it is being liquidated. So I'm not bullish at 20 or 21,000 on Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it went to $10,000. Let me know if you agree or disagree that we could potentially see a $10,000 Bitcoin price floor for this cycle. Now, he also warns of a recent collapse of some cryptocurrencies, which could be a sign of a looming crisis in the digital asset space. As he shares here, we've had such a decline in parts of the stock market. Emerging market equity year to date is down 15%. Most equities are down. NASDAQ's down 28%. Bitcoin is down 53% year to date, and 45% just since the last Federal Reserve meeting. We've already seen around the edges some blowups in parts of the crypto world, and that could be foreshadowing some problems. Now check this out. DoubleLine Capital, headquartered in Tampa, Florida, my old stomping grounds, had more than $122 billion of assets under management at the close of this year's first quarter. And to watch this entire video with his prediction of a $10,000 Bitcoin price, check the show notes below the video in the description. Now for a quick recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. Bitcoin heads for a dismal weekly close as Bitcoin price rejects at $20,000. We also discussed El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, addressing bear market concerns with Bitcoin hopium, as well as top Bloomberg analyst Mike McGlone says $20,000 Bitcoin may be the new $5K, as well as Billionaire CEO of $122 billion asset manager predicting Bitcoin price can crash by another 50% all the way down to $10,000. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below. Now for the top 3 comments from yesterday's episode. Pumpy Pump wrote, JV, it's good seeing you still keeping the faith. So many influencers are all doom and gloom right now. You got it, fam. 1 Bitcoin is still equal to 1 Bitcoin. You can't lose, but you don't sell. Nothing has changed. Hodl. And our next featured comment comes from InnerDino. I reckon it'll drop to $12,000. We ain't seen a market like this. It's the perfect storm. That's right. This is the perfect opportunity for stacking sats. Let's get it. And our third and final featured comment comes from Ellen, getting close to rebuying price. Hold on, really close now. Forget all those prices in your head. We are nearly to the very best buying price of the year. Seize the moment, Ellen. Love it. Hodl. And to be featured on tomorrow's episode, drop me a comment right down below.